turn medieval lo-fi back on. Know that I'm no longer doing my vocal warm-ups. You heard nothing, by the way.
Yeah, we heard nothing. Not a single thing. All right. Well, thanks so much once again for joining us for another live stream of the Eternal Storytelling Engine. I am Dale, the creator of the engine. And tonight I am joined by, over here to this screen, this is...
I can't tell which way you're pointing because...
I'm over here. Wait. So I'm over in the top right of my screen, and I'm pointing that way, which is Kim.
Okay, so for me, you're on the top left. So you're pointing the complete...
I'm on the top right. No, the left. Yes. Yes, Mr. L. Find Mr. L. Okay.
See, for me, you're pointing in the opposite direction from where my camera actually is on my end.
No.
You see, I'm just down below, so I'm like, hey, there's Kim and there's Dale. It's probably flipped for someone, so I'm probably pointing.
Yeah, it's flipped for me.
Okay, so I point like this. I'm pointing at Kim right now.
No, nope, that's me.
This one is pointing at Dale on my screen.
Oh no.
Ruh-roh.
Okay. Yep.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Ruh-roh, Raggy. I feel like my Scooby-Doo bleeds into Pennywise way too quickly. But that's besides the point.
Come and play with the clown.
Come and play with us, Georgie. We all float down here. There we go.
Specifically, Bill Skarsgård. Pennywise, not Tim Curry.
Welcome to Derry. Anywho, let's get started tonight. Unofficial sponsor. Sponsored, not sponsored. Last we left off...
I do need this recap because I've been bad and I forgot to actually watch the previous stream.
What? So now we're all going to die right now. Here we go. You guys came over the hill of the famed city of Stonebrow. That is Gilvor. What you saw upon two separate streams that we have now retconned and now corrected from the last one, a city with many different structures and buildings, and going up to this thing, it feels like, you know, those those samplers that you get from Costco or like Sam's Club, where it's like 5 different cakes around the same center point. Like there's just like a slice of chocolate, and then there's like a big old honking slice of like strawberry cream, and then there's one over here that's like lemon or something. That's kind of what the city looks like. There are 6 such slices, and in the center, kind of rising with a mountain peak, there is a fuming volcano. Now, some of the first things that you saw were giant stone like carvings, including a set of hands that are pouring water forth that goes into an aquifer that goes throughout the rest of the city, right? Right now, you're strolling through the external rings that surround the main volcano. In fact, a lot of what you're seeing here is actually quite lively. There's a whole bunch of things happening down here. I'm going to have you guys go ahead and give me a brawn roll just to see how you guys fare against the cold. It is winter time. You have traveled for months and you've had some time to get used to this, but I'm actually going to give you guys a little bit more difficulty since this is quite cold. If you are taking a picture...
I am not taking a picture.
Okay.
If I was taking a picture, I would be holding my phone up to the camera right now.
Here on the stream, as these guys are rolling, if these guys roll a crit, they are required to send me a photo because I'm sick of how many times I get crit on.
I'm taking a picture.
As a host, I'm glad it happens. As a fellow player, what the frick, bro?
12. That's what the frick.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Man was...
Let Micah in. He's chatting in the studio. Gosh. Why can't our karma pay attention?
Okay, you're going to have to say that one more time. Whatever joke that was, my audio and video went funky for a second. My apologies.
I said, why can't karma pay attention?
I know. All right, it's whatever. It's whatever. It's fine. We're just going to roll with it. I'm getting shade. It's fine. It's fine.
I rolled 7, by the way.
To the podcast listeners, it's not fine.
All right, so at an 11, That's the world roll that I was able to give you guys. Now, because I wasn't paying attention, I need to hear your totals one more time. 12 from Mr. Crit
12.
over here. Okay. You got 12 of them. Internet reference.
I do indeed.
Kim.
7.
7. So
And Micah says he's got an 8.
Micah got an 8? How is
the coastal boy the only one that's not cold?
Guys, I have been here the whole time, and Dale just wouldn't let me in.
I know. See, I don't pay attention. You're laughing behind the scenes. You're dying at the conversation because I don't even see you yet.
Congrats on the date.
I was waiting for your amazing entrance.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh. Let's just start today over. It was a great day. All right, it's been fun, and I'm glad to see it end on a positive note. So, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
And that's it, folks.
All right, you got an 8. Firestorm.
Yeah. Yes, I
Okay.
received an Ocho.
An Ocho. I just got to the studio chat. Whatever. All right, so if you have a world roll or an attack or anything like that, and the difference is at or greater than 3 between your roll and the person you're rolling against, that counts as a crit. Now, this is a world roll, meaning that if the world is rolling against you and you have 3 less than what I've rolled, it counts as a crit. For this, it's not going to be super terrible, and I'm not going to be rolling it over and over again. One particularly strong winter gust smashes into you guys, and if you had 3 or less, or 3 or more, 3 or less, between what we had, between my 12 and your result, then you would end up...
There's a less complicated way for you to explain what you're trying to explain.
There is a much less complicated say. If you have 3 less than what I got, you got crit on. -1 HP. That's it.
Which means everyone but me.
Yeah, Coast Boy wound up being nice and prepared. And Firestorm, of all people, got the shivers.
Shiver me timbers.
So,
all right.
So here's what you see, right? So like Kirdan had been wearing, even back up to Bergerland, he'd been wearing the clothes that he'd been wearing in the Aemarys Cove, which is more what his standard attire looks like, which isn't like super thick. But as we approached Kael'vor, he had this thought, like, maybe I should pull out the old traveling robes that I was wearing. Those were a lot warmer. And like 10 minutes before the gust, he just whips them out, wraps them around, and then it hits. He's like, perfect timing.
Now, as the gales are incoming, you are doing your best to get closer to town. Firestorm, you've already seen, like, the rings around the town have grown out. You've been inside the temple. You guys are now warm enough. You've been in company with Jeffrey and Derek's. And last we saw, you guys looked out the window and you saw 3 travelers glancing into the temple, which included a wooden simulacrum with vine hair growing out of a cavity around like a wooden crown where her skull basically stops and her hair just starts, her vine hair. A Phelan, which is a cat folk. And a Wolfkin, a wolf folk. They stop, glance in. The wolf folk, ironically enough, actually stops at the window that Ophelia is glancing through. They have a very quick little interaction, just gives her a quick nod, like that awkward, oh, I'm looking into the window that you happen to be looking out at me through. Gives you a little nod and then moves on. That's how you guys pretty much left things off. We didn't even decide really if you were going to be staying the night here or if you wanted to go and spend the night in a Rose Thorn cell location. Rose Thorn is the organization, the spy network, information network, better said, that Quill utilizes. She's kind of the head honcho of that group. What would you guys like to do right now? You've been brought inside, and I let's just say for continuity's sake, you guys have already eaten with Jeffrey, was so kind as to provide you a modest meal. Maybe it's essentially like beans on toast. I don't know. Something super British. He's not even British. It's whatever.
British. Beans on
He's just
toast.
got a little bit of that little bit. He's got a little bit of water. Got a little water.
You got a license for that bottle of water?
Oh, goodness. We gotta stop. We gotta
Moving
pull it
right
in.
along.
Oh no. So, you guys have had the opportunity to get a good meal, and Jeffrey sits back in his chair. He kind of looks off to the side. Thank you, Derek's. And Derek's, the massive construct of dark, almost like obsidian dark volcanic stone, kind of leans his head in and brings one arm in through the doorway, gives a little salute, and then what you go ahead and roll me a senses check. You guys are trying to beat. This is not going to be very difficult at all. Oh yeah, all you're trying to beat is a 4.
I've got no sense. No sense at all.
Oh yeah, I got an 11.
Okay.
I also got an 11.
11's
I-
a good roll.
I
We are
also
friends
got an
now.
11.
Kirdan's not even there. He went with
If you guys
Quill
put,
to.
if you guys
That's
put
right.
our rolls together, we get the release date of Skyrim.
Way to make me feel old.
Mm-hmm.
I might be
All
the youngest
right.
one here now, actually.
Yeah, Kirdan, you're not with us actually, so I'll give you a
Okay.
little bonus in one of the other ones. All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
As
Kirdan, you're not
yeah,
here.
Kirdan,
You
get
can't sit
dunked
with
on.
us.
It's okay. I know I'm actually the coolest kid.
Both of you 11s.
Shut
Oh,
up.
he's gone.
Yeah, he's
You
the
offended
coolest
him.
one.
Both of you guys are able to catch a little glimpse of a pink, flowery apron around Derek's chest and middle. It looks more like a t-shirt, like a workout t-shirt that's way too tight and way too small, right? But it's an apron, and he's tried to put it on to be as posh as possible to make sure that he doesn't get messy. Gives a little salute, and then he reaches in from around the room and like grabs your plates with one hand, and will then duck back into the other room where he's then assumedly cleaning the plates. Jeffrey kind of leans in, puts his elbows in on the table, and is just looking between the two of you. So, run this down for me. What's the play here? You guys are here for Firestorm, I would well imagine, but what are you really here for?
I mean, for me, I'm here because I got your letter.
I mean, I appreciate the integrity to the friendship that we have. I do. But if I were not, there are things happening in my sphere that are lining up quite coincidentally with yours, to the point where I don't think that they are unrelated. That makes me nervous. And I need to know. Yes, we've caught up on the events of the Aemarys Cove. I understand that. With me being kicked out of Brule, coming here, back to my stomping grounds, I just need to know what you're in for. And if that means that you're here to see your family, Firestorm, if they're still around, that's fantastic. I would love to help you if I could. The most I can offer is keeping an ear out for those that are sent my way. And so far, I haven't really seen a lot of people interested in this chapel as it once was. Firestorm and Ophelia, if you want, you can roll an awareness roll.
I rolled an 11. On my
Everyone's video's
10-sided.
off. Everyone's gone. What happened?
My video's never on, but that's because I play in the dark. So
I
it's
understand
like
that.
everyone else is asleep.
They're dead.
I don't want to be distracting people while I am listening, but I'm building too, and I don't want to distract people with me building while they're trying to pay attention to you guys.
All right, Ophelia, what do you think? You are muted.
I was saying sorry I had to dip out for a sec. I had to check out something.
You're
What was
We're
So,
rolling an awareness check.
rolling aware.
awareness? Alright. There's another 11. Apparently 8 is the magic number on my dice today.
That's so funny.
You guys
I
are able
also
to
got
listen.
11.
You guys are able to duck in a little bit more, and you barely parse. He's noticing trends that he's not talking about when it comes to attendance at his chapel. Like, things have shifted, definitely. And not just because he's coming in from behind. Like, this has been however many years that this particular this chapel, this worship place, has been active. He's coming in a losing race. And he feels the trend failing even slower as time goes on. Don't know what, but that's what's on his mind.
So, like, what's on his mind is the lack of people attending?
Dwindling numbers. And frankly, it's my assumptions, at least one or two of them have to do with the real focus in this town. You know, I would focus on as many deities as I could, because I recognize that with all of them being here, that they have a hand in our lives. We have to acknowledge that. But there's a new god here. And it's part of the reason why I think that I'm struggling here. I've noticed
New god.
it's not something that truly connects to you and your friend Kirdan. It's more of an idea, something that people pursue with their passion, their ideas, their hopes. It's industry. People are trying to find new and better ways to improve the lives of everyone else. And it's causing a lot of disparity in town. It's causing a lot of disparity. People that are rich get richer. People that are not as rich end up trying to work their way up the ladder and work themselves to death. It seems bleak, I know, but that's what this town does to you. And I'm sorry, Firestorm, if I recognize that this is your home, and I recognize again that it's been a long time since you've been here. But things have changed in the time you've gone.
I'm sure they have.
What would you like to know about the... I can talk about the culture. I can talk about a few of the different main popular sites for the tourists that come to town. Beyond that, I really won't know very much until I can get some people in the door and hear what they're talking about.
What kind of outreach do you have for the people?
It's a little embarrassing. Derek's and I will typically walk the streets separately. Derek's is not much of a talker, so I've taken the liberty of creating a few flyers, and he reaches behind himself. There's actually a satchel hanging on the corner of his chair. He reaches in, flips the lid open, grabs some papers, and flips it shut, and he hands each of you one of these little pamphlets. They are handmade. They're not printed. They are drawn with careful calligraphy, as if a 17-year-old who thought, man, calligraphy's awesome, I bet I could do good with this, decided he was going to sit down and do the most complicated design he could think of, with a few words that say, essentially, come worship with us this day, this time, this place. And, you know, if I had to give his capacities using his D12 compared to his smarts and his grace together, I'd still say that he would barely be able to eke out a 4 or 5 total in his performance here. It's meager, but he's done what he can. Each piece looks different. Like even Ophelia, like peeking over at Firestorm's like page, you barely catch a glimpse of it. It's different than yours, different ink, different shape, style. But before Firestorm's like, he passes those out, and I do more proselytizing, visiting with people, getting to know them, and inviting them out if they're willing. Sometimes I don't know, so I invite them anyway. I've had a few things thrown at me, actually. But yeah, that's how things have been here. I want to help, but it'll depend on how you guys handle things. Derek's. And Derek's leans his head into the doorway. Did you have we found that mask. Can you go grab those, please? He leans back out without a word. Just give him a second. And while we do that, I'm going to transfer back over to Kirdan. Just a couple minutes to touch base with our boy from the coast. All right. Kirdan.
I will need some help as to what I have been doing with Quill.
So you guys were going to double check with her to see how things were at her base. You're gonna basically ingrain yourself into that organization and get your feelers out through them. Okay.
Okay.
You guys are entering the southwestern corner gate of the town, and as you do, you see you've walked through all kinds of different adobe huts and tents, even in the midst of winter. You see that people are shivering. Some of them are gaunt. There are women and children here without husbands or fathers. There are old men, old women that huddle together around are essentially dumpster fires. They're doing their best to stay warm as winter sets on and gets worse. The storm is getting progressively worse as you keep walking. But when you reach that southwestern gate, you've already passed the exterior ring, and now you're getting into the central district of the city. You see massive archway with cobbled, prepared stones stacked on top of each other. A keystone that is 2 times as tall as an ordinary man over the top of this gate. It's that massive stone in the center of the arch that holds it all together.
I'm aware of what a keystone is.
And as you are able to walk underneath it, you feel... Actually, let's clue in with Kirdan for a moment. What is the feeling of walking into this display of power, of strength, of weight, as you enter into the center ring of Kilvor?
I mean, having that juxtaposed with all the people that are kind of suffering, the immediate thought is, there's like his immediate thought is there was disparity in the Cove, but not like this. The immediate thought is, why are they not trying to take care of their people?
Quill, who's been walking quietly beside you, and markedly so, she's kind of talkative. You notice that she's kind of stopped talking once you got into town. Once you cross into that ring, had to keep a low profile. We do the best that we can to help out, but if I put myself out there, then they might end up getting in trouble, or getting me in trouble. So I have my agents, my thorns, but it's bleak, to say the least. Come on. And she will push you, kind of shepherd you over in a certain direction. When she walks one direction and suddenly, nope.
You don't need to push.
She tries walking in one direction, and when you try and follow, she's like, oh, nope. And she'll push, bump into you, and shove you again. Just move.
Why?
Stop. Well, stop hanging on me. Come on, let's just go. And so she shepherds you. She bustles around you, and I imagine that Hazel's with you at this point. Both
No,
of you
'cause
just
Hazel is in Beargland.
yes. Thank you for catching me up on that. Oh my gosh, continuity errors. All right, you
Yeah.
two
Yeah,
are.
like Kirdan is she keeps like pushing him away, but also like pushing him in the direction they need to go. He's just like, I'm trying to follow you. Like,
Well, then follow. And so she steps around you and moves in that direction a little bit quicker than you imagine that she should. Maybe she's cold. Maybe she's upset about something. It's whatever. But you come up to a small brick building. And brick in a city of finely crafted stone is humble looking. And you enter into uh, the brick mortar and pestle. And as you cross inside, there's a tiny little brass bell ding, 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 that tings overhead. Quill kind of enters a little too sharply, so the door almost bangs, but she awkwardly reaches around and stops it from doing that. The bell was kind of obnoxious, and you're glad that she stopped it so you didn't have to ring it again. She's then able to kind of shepherd you in, close the door, and then she goes up to the counter. She looks this way, looks that way. There's no one there. Go ahead and give me a smarts roll. You gave us a smarts roll. Do you want to keep that roll, or do you want to try and get better?
it'd be a 9 if I kept it, which is about as good as I can do.
Okay.
I've got +1 to smarts, and I rolled an 8 on the die. So yeah,
Got it.
There is a better chance that I do worse than there's a
Yep.
I do better.
Okay. So at your 9, you glance around the room. Let me make sure that I get this rolled for you too, because it's not super. Oh yeah. You see and can smell the different herbs. You can hear a cauldron bubbling over in the corner. And there's a very strong like smell of like mullein and marshmallow root kind of a vibe. It's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's thick enough that it feels like it's kind of pasty in your mouth. So you kind of you keep your mouth shut for a minute.
It's one of those like, remember, this isn't the Cove. These are not the smells you're used to.
Right. You see bushes of herbs and things that you're not even certain you know what they are. For us, it'd be equivalent of like the sage, the thyme, the cilantro, all of these things that are prepared so carefully, bundled together, hanging from lines, especially closer to the window now that like storm and winter has started to set on. They're doing the best they can with what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just to see the juxtaposition of these two cities, such plenty and warmth with the cold, almost sterility of this town. It's kind of a shell shock. Quill is still up at the counter. All right. Well, let me step out back and see if there's not someone to... just one second. And she's going to hop around the other side and goes behind the counter through the side door. She leaves you here. With your roll, there are 2 aisles. There's technically like one like round section around a bookshelf, essentially in the middle of the room, off to your left-hand side. You literally walk straight in, and that's the counter and the service space. But over to your left, you see essentially a bookshelf, a bunch of smaller cupboards around that are open so that you can see down there. Do you peruse anything in here? The smells are like so thick right now, and it's just quiet back there. You're not even certain the Quill's back there now.
So I'll go and look like I'm perusing, but really just like to try and get my mind off of everything. As I walk over, I pull out my message stone and I just tune it over to my mom and go, I know you're not going to get this for a while. It's about, what would you say? It's like 3 p.m. here.
It feels like it's 7 o'clock at night. It's only like 4 or 5. It's so dark right now.
Yeah, it's about 4 p.m. where I'm at over in Kael'vor. You're probably not going to get this for a couple hours because you're on the other side of the continent. But just wanted to check in, let you know that I'm doing okay. Hope everything's going fine at home. I'll just put it back and, again, look like I'm perusing, even though it's like I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Go ahead and roll senses or smarts. Depending on the flavor will change what you experience.
8 on the die.
Total of what?
I'm gonna go for smarts again on this because I'm kind of trying actively to tune out my senses right now because they're a little overloaded.
That's great. That total comes to
9.
9. Okay. You are able to successfully ignore your senses. You are thinking, logicking through the next steps. You put one foot in front of the other as you saunter your way around this bookshelf. And as you're thinking, you see that one side is full of herbs and jars and tinctures and all kinds of weird things that are bubbling and swirling. Potions, maybe. It's whatever. You cross around the other side and you see a small little library. And these are not spell books. This doesn't feel like the kind of area that would have spell books. But you are able then to catch a glint in the light, and there's a little bit of a recognition. This is where your smarts come into play. You you lean into this glint of gold leafing inside embossed letters of a storybook. And you see that it's actually a story that comes up in regular conversation with Ophelia. It is a hand-made, hand-embossed, hand-carved, structured, painted. It's so intricate. The swirls and artistry of the front. It shows an elven woman proffering her hand out to a dwarven lord, a dwarven duke. And the leafing and lettering along the side of the spine says, "The Servant and the Dwarven Duke." It's a very thin tome, but it's been made with such care. And you see another one, treatise on, this one is not nearly as intricate. This one is just bare bones, but they're right next to each other. That gold leafing caught your eye, and now you drift to the next one. Treatise of War and Techniques in Battle at Murkthaw. That's all that really catches your eye. There's a couple recipe books. Maybe Ophelia would like that. There's a couple different battle strategy books. There's a couple different forge books. Like if you're getting into masonry, if you're getting into blacksmithing, there's ways for you to build those things and to do so at home. That's what these books are positing. You finally hear someone stumbling in from the back. Sorry. I'll pick that up. As you hear like glass clatter. There we go. Glass clatters to the ground in the back. Quill basically stumbles and falls out of the back and catches herself on the countertop. Ugh. So sorry. Yeah, we've got some people here. Right now, what I can tell you is that most of my people are going to be out in the outer ring of the city. And as we're doing that, I want to make sure that you understand that you're free to pop in whenever you see a carving of a rose at the corner of the sign outside. People around here associate it with a charity under the same name. It's kind of not super smart on my part, but it's stuck. But what I can tell you is that if you spot that anywhere in town, you basically have a safe place so long as you know the code word. It changes every day, and you're lucky for me being here because I can shut that down. Basically, all you need to do is remember the phrase, and she'll peek over her shoulder, look out towards the door. Come here. She has you lean in.
He'll lean in.
Quill is the best.
Why do I get the feeling that that's not actually the code?
That's definitely the code, and if you don't use it, you're going to find out real quick, aren't you? Up to you.
I figured that the leader of an organization that is supposedly helpful to people would be a little more humble.
That's exactly what you'd think, right? That's why we do it the other way around. Makes sense. Plus, it helps keep things light.
Kirdan just like pops an eyebrow, just like,
hey, it helps keep things light with these people, all right? Occasionally it's me, sometimes it's one of my lieutenants here in town, but, you know, it is what it is. You got to make every excuse to find happiness while you're here.
no, that's fair. I get it. That being said, I am curious why the town is like this. I mean,
Well, as far as I remember, I know that someone special to me was from here, and he raised me. And he always said it was a lot better. And he dreamed of a time when we might be able to see it restored back to the way he envisioned it.
Yeah. I recognize that, at least in terms of other cities on the continent, I don't have much experience. But I mean, I grew up in a place that was just as bustling, maybe even more so than here. And it didn't feel anything close to what this feels like.
Well, I've been to both. Aemarys Cove, Calevor. I think the thing that separates them is that the Aemarys Cove, the people care about one another. They'll actually look you in the eye. Around here, if you make eye contact with anyone, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a fist to the face.
Well, good thing I can turn mine to water, so they just get wet.
It's still really weird. Do you want to meet up with your buddies?
It used to be I'd turn it to lightning and they'd zap themselves. I can do
It
that.
doesn't change anything. It's both of those are weird.
Yeah, and I am an inherently elemental being. It's just what I am.
Yeah, I get it. And I can live for up to 1,000 years. So what? Let's get moving to your buddies.
Okay.
Show off. She like pushes around the corner.
It's like, there are things you can do that I can't. Come on.
Exactly. Can you pin a fly to across the room without killing it?
No.
I can.
You've trained to do that, though.
I basically woke up and I could live for 1,000 years. Got another 800 to go. No big deal. Let's go. And she'll like pop you in. What an
Sidebar,
interesting.
This is a funny dynamic between the two. Just such different life experiences.
Yeah, she feels like a teenager, straight up. Go ahead and roll me an awareness roll. Actually, no, smarts, and do so with advantage.
Okay. That is a 10. It's a dirty 10, but a 10 nonetheless.
Let's give you a D10. So you have like a total of 11?
No, a total of 10.
Total of 10. 200 years. You realize something really quick. 70 years ago was when the war officially ended. Meaning, she was there in the inception of the war 100 years before that. She says, all right, let's go. Swings open the door, ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, and she steps out in the cold.
As we step out, Kirdan, he'll make a point of moving quickly so he can be next to her, and in a hushed tone, he'll just ask, were you at the Aemarys Cove when the war broke out 100 years ago?
Let's walk a little faster. Walk and talk. Okay.
As
yes.
She shivers too, he's just like he shakes his head a little, like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I have a girlfriend, but whatever. He'll pull off his heavier coat and drape it on himself.
Excuse you. You have a girlfriend.
I know, but I also can't turn my back on someone that needs help, especially when they are shivering cold and didn't bring a heavy enough coat, knowing what season it was.
Yes, I got here. I was in the Aemarys Cove around... I was basically a kid. You know, people assume that Eldran, like me, would be like, oh, they age as quickly as other people, and then they just stop. And they slow down their aging process until they die around 1,000 years later. But no, we actually age about the same rate over that 1,000 years. So when I'm 30 years old, I'm still a toddler, you know? My brain is already up there, and I've already learned a couple languages, so people are kind of irked by that. I've since forgotten them because I didn't really have people around to talk that way. But, yeah, the city was a lot different. Smaller, kind of like this place is smaller. Let's go faster, faster, faster. And so she kind of ushers you a little faster.
He'll like be eyeing things, and if he sees like a loose piece of wood that's big enough, he'll like water arm it over and zap it so that it's a bit of a fire, just to produce a little more warmth for her. He's like, okay, come on.
All I can say is that when the war broke out, people really wanted to see that city fall and to take it over. We arrived from the Sylvan Isles, and that was an entire region of islands where my people originally came from. It's where our sister race, the Maryland, are also quite renowned for their craftsmanship and their coral reefs. But
Yeah, I've been once or twice on ship expeditions where they needed a storm rod to.
I'd take
make
that
sure they-
tropical weather any day, right now, anytime. I'd take every summer storm in the middle of that tropics over this right now. You hear that? And she like yells out into the sky against the storm.
And Kirdan will just respond with, I don't know, some of the storms that I've seen out there,
Oh, don't try and push that.
literally the only reason why a ship full of 50 other people lived is because I was able to get the lightning away from them. If it had
I
struck,
said it once.
if even
I'll
a
say it
single
before.
one
I'll
of-
say it again. Yeah, I'll say it once. I'll say it again. Show off. And she's all proud of herself for a minute.
I'm not saying that to show off. It's more or less just saying it to say that if it's a situation of life and death, I will do anything I can to protect people.
Okay, so
I've
now
always
you're
been that
making
way.
me guilty about being a show off. All right. So like elbow you really quick. Let's just go. You know, it's the question and answer session has been nice. The jacket's been nice. You're gonna have to explain to her how my hair might have fallen upon it when you meet her next. But that's the story for another day. Let's get moving. And so you guys, she insists she's kind of done with the conversation to that point.
Yeah,
She'll
as we're
move you
going, though, he'll
towards
just
that
say, it'll be
temple.
cleaned before we ever get. It'll be cleaned before we ever get back. And besides, we're both very secure in our relationship. It's fine.
You guys continue through the storm. Back over at the chapel, you're able to visit Ophelia and Firestorm with Jeffrey. He has broken out a deck of cards. And these are not
The deck
like
of
your
many.
traditional face cards. These would be almost a combination of like a tarot, numerology as well. In fact, let me make sure that I have my references up for numerology. All right. Okay. So as he's doing this, he brings out a pile of 10 of these cards, a very small deck, right? Now, as he's shuffling these around and kind of scattering them on the table and swishing them around, oh, this is a game that I used to play when I was a kid. It was actually one of the exercises that we did to build up our intuition and to determine for ourselves if we were going to allow our lives to be led by fate. And I wonder if you two are not in a similar boat. So, and he's doing this on his kitchen table. Like, you look around the room, this is homey. There's a freaking like cross-stitched little like rounded finger dinger hanging up on a nail, just like propped up on that nail on a ring, never taken off as a handkerchief like it was intended to be. You
Finger
imagine Ophelia, just based on the craftsmanship and the practice, this was likely his mom, who's not present. You're able to look over to the other side as well, and you see Firestorm. You see that there are a set of carefully sharpened knives that, per your experience in the military, you recognize when a blade has been sharpened to the point of almost diminishing the weapon's pride and craftsmanship to its barest nub. These knives are so They've been dulled and sharpened over so many years. This is probably something heirloom, but it's not something military, but there's some craftsmanship that feels military. It's very weird. But that's also in its own little box hanging near your chair in this kind of cramped kitchen space. And this is when Jeffrey kind of turns around. You know what? Let's play a game. And he breaks this out and he starts slapping down these cards. Each one of you guys are able to pick one of those cards. I'm going to have you roll a d10. Okay? Each one of you keep your result. Let me do this. I'm going to say a d20 for you guys. Ladies first. So ladies will be odd numbers. And gentlemen here will be even numbers. Whatever number I roll is going to determine who gets to roll their dice first. That's odds. Ladies first. The dice said so. Go ahead and roll, and then let me know your result without modifiers.
With no modifiers, that is a 7.
7. And as you take your card and as he flips it over, you're able to see it's like a campfire with a swirl and spiral of smoke above it, purple glittering smoke. These are very well crafted cards, kind of like the book we were talking about earlier. But he looks that over and says, this is the mark of the analytical. This is someone who it's not just the mental, it's someone who processes very deeply and internally. They have a spiritual element to them. They're intuitive, maybe a little reserved, which I kind of don't get the feeling off of you. But more than anything, they live on their interior. They find great fulfillment with their relationships with self and directing themselves to other people. And maybe they might connect to something greater than themselves. Go ahead and roll me now, using your proper modifiers, anything you would like to roll to resist an awareness check against you.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry, wrong die. Got to bring up the D12.
All right, well, I'm going to go will on this.
Will.
Since that seems to be the natural opposite to...
Yeah, love that. Love that.
And that is a 10 total.
10 total. As he kind of looks at you, his little smile grows a little bit more on one side before he turns. Remember that number.
I certainly like that look.
It's all in good fun. Just keep that number. It might prove useful to you later. And it's not even like prophetic. It's just, if you see that number again, pay close attention. That's all I can offer you. It's funny how it works. It's what my mom did when she taught me the game. Firestorm. What did you roll?
I rolled a 1.
All right, so you pull the card that has this lovely number 1. It's very strong. Like the font on the number 7 card was very precise. There were some like pretty pointy serifs on there and like a lot of swirls with that smoke. But with this one, the number 1 appears proud, strong, independent. And he starts talking about all these different elements. This is nothing like you. Individualistic. So you're a leader. You're a pioneer. You're independent and you're energetic. That's what that. No, that doesn't feel like you. Not at all. No, sorry, buddy.
What? He looks over at Ophelia. Am I not a great leader?
I'm saying that it's to your card.
This guy's a quack.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I've seen you at work. You do a good job. And there's a lot here that you may be able to help with in town. And I hope that you do. There's things that I wish I could change that for my station might take an act of the gods. But with someone like you, who knows?
I'm
You
an
might
act
have
of the
the
gods.
will and go ahead.
I'm an act of the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
You
Paria.
might well be. All right. Well, that was fun. Maybe when the others get here, bang! The door is like smacked open from inside the chapel. What the devils? And he stands up and goes out. Oh, Kirdan!
So
Come on!
So what you guys would also hear going into that, you hear the bang as the door opens, and then you hear Kirdan just like, Quill, you didn't need to kick it open.
That's the best part about going to places like this. You got to keep it lively, otherwise things just get boring.
Yes, and then property damage ensues, and then you have to spend money you
Property
don't have.
damage, schmoperty damage. You can't even spell those words together in the same sentence.
PROPERTY DAMAGE.
Goes above. He actually did
He,
it. All right.
he's Firestorm's coming up. Nerd.
Quill like gives a quick little flick of a wave. How's it going, old man? Old man,
not
don't
that
talk to me
old.
like that, old lady. That's Jeffrey talking to this woman. And she crosses the chapel. He crosses to her. He gives her a good handshake, respectful with two hands around hers. Come on in. Hey, Kirdan, have you eaten anything? We were just wrapping up dinner, but we can get you something warmed up.
Did Quill and I eat? I don't know if we ate.
No, she ran you straight in there. It took you
Okay.
about 30 minutes extra time getting into the deeper part of the city and 30 minutes back out.
No, I haven't eaten actually, or no. Jeffrey will say it, and before Kirdan can respond, his stomach will just growl. Yes, please.
Come on, let's go. He sits you down and he'll have you play the game as you're slopping up your soup with your toast and your beans and all that. It's meager, but it is good and it's warm. All right, so same deal. If you roll a 1 or a 7, you have to re-roll. Okay.
Okay, and this is a where?
D10, no modifier.
Oh, no modifier. Okay. Well, that's a 1. So I have to re-roll.
It's building.
7.
Skip it. Those cards have been drawn.
That's hilarious, though. Okay, 10.
Okay. As he leans over the top of this.
To be fair, it is hilarious that I rolled the 2 numbers I'm not allowed to roll.
You're not allowed
in
to
a
roll
row.
them. You're not allowed to roll. He sits down and he like looks at the card. This is a 1 and a 0 together, and it's the 1 and the 0 together occupy about the same amount of space on the card, right? Down the center of that card is kind of a split, like a very intricate, almost like marbled looking split of gold leaf. On the one side, the 1 has black and its number is gold. On the other side of that, it's white with its letter being gold. And he looks down at that and doesn't really speak for a minute. The number 10 signifies the end of one cycle and the start of a new higher level phase. There's independent energy of the 1, and he points over at Firestorm, and there's infinite potential within the number 0. This means that you can pretty much go in any direction and potentially find success. That also means that it can be quite dangerous, Kirdan. And as much as I enjoy appealing to the gods or games of chance to give you some kind of guidance, take this with the largest hunk of salt that you can when I say, I think each one of you has had this number 10 active in your lives. And you may wind up experiencing these numbers together, between you, independent of each other. Be looking out for those. The 1, the 7, and the 10.
And then Kirdan, just like looking at it a little more, he'll just look at Jeffrey and go, "Have they told you everything that happened in the Cove a few months back?"
I've had some people around that have whispered a few things as well, so I am aware.
Okay. This card, the way you've described it, does... Well, it pretty much sums up exactly what my experience in the Cove was.
I thought so.
Too many directions to go. Fortunately, there was success, but extreme danger the entire time.
I'm sorry to say that you may not experience anything different while you're here.
I mean, even just looking at the town, this is so different from what I experienced growing up. I know this is supposed to be a bigger population center. I know not quite as big as the Cove, but I mean, I think Quill put it best. Maybe it's because of the history of war in the Cove and the forced desire to work together, but the people there care about each other, and that's why there's not as much disparity. It's still there, but there's support systems in place for those that need it. Whereas here, there's a freaking gate between the higher class and what they'd probably call the deplorables.
Maybe not that sharply, but yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't be wrong. Quill kind of leans in. And you know, do I get to pull one of these cards as well? Like, is there any special little thing that I get here? You know what, Quill? Pick a card. Thank you, sir. She's so snippy about it. He just rolls his eyes and pinches the bridge of his nose as she goes to roll a 1 and a 3. He reads that off to you as well. Now, the 3 in this case is... as he pours over this is a very swoopy, swirly looking card. There's lots of color, bright, shiny. That gold leaf is still embossed throughout in different swirls and arcs of light. This is the expressive card. This is about creativity, being sociable, artistic, and optimistic. And for what I know of you, I think that you have overcome quite a bit in order to be here. And this is the first time. Go ahead and each of you, if you'd like, can roll senses or aware.
I'm gonna go for aware on mine. That is a 10 total.
Okay.
This is the 4th time
Oh my gosh.
that I've rolled an 8
In a row?
in a row. So that's an 11 total.
I got a 5 total.
There you go. Aware? Firestorm?
I mean, both of them are the same modifier.
Okay. So... Firestorm would not be able to parse this. Ophelia barely parses it. There's almost like a little bit of a flinch in that comment from Quill. Yeah, I have. And Jeffrey kind of starts a little bit. I didn't mean any offense. Oh, no, the religious types never do. You know, just the ones that happen to, poke the wounds that are still gaping open from the one person in my life who decided they were going to be helping me out. Then they got shot in the back trying to leave your city. So, forgive me for being a little bit more expressive. And she'll shove herself up from the table You know, if you guys want to stay around here, that's just fine. I'm going to catch you tomorrow. And Kirdan, you know exactly where I'm going to be. I'll catch you at the brick and mortar. And she will leave the room. Jeffrey's just... It's just a card game. Like, that's all it really is.
And Kirdan at that will just respond with, it may be just a card game, but I think Quill has a lot that she needs to work through that she has refused to work through. Granted, given that she's an Eldrin, she's somewhere around the age of 20, and I will admit I was not the most mature at the age of 20. Granted, I'm only 26 now, but still.
Firestorm's like, I'm 96.
Yes, and how long do dwarves live?
Like 120.
Oh, okay.
I think that has more to do with the numbers joke, because he had that whole jump thing that he did. And no? Okay. Yeah, I got it. I got it, though, Firestorm. I got you.
He shoots him a finger gun and winks.
The point is, she's in a spot where maybe she thinks she should be able to move on from things or work through it better than she does. But
she's not. Kirdan.
She's not. Mentally, she's not.
She can see and shoot targets from leagues away, but she can't see that the one fight that she has to overcome is right in front of her face. And I want to help, but people have to want to help themselves first. Like this whole town. I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk that way, but you know what? I think we're all tired. I'm tired. I've had a rough day. The storm kind of took it out of me. So I do have a couple additional rooms upstairs.
When he says that, Kirdan tries not to. He successfully. Actually, I'm gonna roll will on this.
Sure. Can I contest that with the senses?
Sure. So total it's 10. So he does stop himself from snickering.
Mm-hmm.
But a small grin does come across his face as he's like, you have no idea the kind of storms I've seen. This is like the thought in his head is like, this is child's play compared to the storms I've seen.
Okay, thank you, Thunderhead.
But yeah, but
he literally
again,
will hold up his head,
little,
his hand, and
like,
say that to you.
Just like,
don't even say it, Thunderhead. Thank you.
No disrespect.
I know. I still have eyes. I can still see. Come on, I'll walk you upstairs. And he'll point out each of the 3 rooms. They're exactly the same. Mattress is well taken care of, well dressed, even if it is a little lumpy in each of the beds. Pillow, thick blankets. These are quilts. These were handmade with quilting boards and stretching the fabric, the whole 9 yards, right? Very well made. And he leaves you to it. He leaves the 3 of you to your own devices and what is essentially a single bed in a single room with very small windows that you can literally only use to see whether or not it's light outside. They've already fogged up and crusted over from the condensation that's here inside the chapel. And as you guys wind down to bed, you hear and feel the thrum of a bell through the building. And it goes for 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. And the same thing happens until it's about 6 o'clock, right? And then it stops for the night.
Follow-up question: did Quill give back my coat, or did she forget that she was wearing it and walk?
By the time you guys got inside, before you'd even kicked down the door like she did, she shoved your jacket back into your hands. So you barely had enough time to swipe it on if you wanted to and just make it look like, oh, I always had this on. What are you talking about? Or if you just carry it in, that's fine.
He probably would have just carried it in because he doesn't care that much, and everyone here, aside from Jeffrey, everyone else here knows that Kirdan is very much stuck with Hazel and zero intentions of that falling
All
apart.
right. It's about 6 o'clock at night when, Kirdan, you feel a buzz and a warmth from one of your pockets. Grab it. That's your stone, your message stone.
Just
And
put it up
as
my
you
ear
hold
and
it to your
listen.
ear, it's one of those, it's kind of like bone induction headphones. You actually would press it towards the spot, like right in front of your earlobe, like up front
Okay.
there. And you would be able to hear it where no one else would, right? You can have it on speaker, but all you really need to do is put it on a table and it vibrates through the table. But you put it there and you can hear your mom's voice with essentially a recording back. Hey, Sparky, and it's your dumb nickname that she's always called you from as long as you've been alive. Hey, Sparky,
And
things are fine here. Your sisters and brothers are doing well. Actually, your sister just got in the other day. She finished off a tour, and she has been catching us up on her adventures. She's really sad that she didn't get to see you. I'm really sad that I don't get to see you as much, or Hazel for that matter, since you whisked her away. While you're gone, would you mind getting together and making it official? It's been ages. You might as well exchange the marital stones and make it happen. Just kidding, sweetheart. Take your time. We love her. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. Click.
he'll just pull it away and just hold it in his hand, not quite looking at it, but just kind of laughing to himself, like, Mom is never going to change. But that's okay.
Now, Firestorm,
Aye.
you've spent the day like seeing a bunch of different people. When you were here, the town was a town. There was a lot of Stonebrow and some stragglers, and there were not nearly as many of these other lineages in town as they were back then. You've seen towering half giants, 7 to 9 feet tall on the average. You've seen Wolfkin, whole groups of them, packs of them almost, traveling together, mercenaries. You've seen Phelan, catfolk that are going back and forth. You've seen even more moss feet. Ophelia, you and Kirdan, you've seen these, and you're like, you see these other lineages, and you're kind of taken aback by them. Kirdan, you are an anomaly here. Ophelia, you feel a little bit at home because of the dozen moss feet that you've seen running around. Not much more than that. Kirdan, you've seen maybe, actually, let me see. Go ahead and roll me just contested. I'm going to go with, I'll go with a D12 because of the rarity. Go with your mastery die and just roll as is. Two.
Dos.
You've seen no other wisps. It's isolating. It's weird. It's not fun. But you take heart remembering your mom and your sister that just got into town, knowing that in a storm as icy as this one, she'd probably be right at home. Firestorm. This town is so different. And I can't help but wonder, but I want to ask you, Micah, what do you think Firestorm was experiencing knowing all of these changes have occurred? And whether or not it bodes well or ill to him?
He's seen so much change happen from the time jump that he expected it. He fully, especially because it's, the capital of the Dwarven Kingdoms. He knew it was going to change, but seeing it change so much makes him really sad.
It's also striking to you, I think, that these half-giants, the Jotara, the Wolfkin, the Phelan, these are all lineages that were, if not independent from the war, they were with the Felwinger.
Mm.
what does that mean to you? Seeing the other side, if we want to call it that, being involved in your capital, a place that was neutral to begin with, but that ultimately did lead in helping provide weapons for the Empire.
Well, I think he definitely does feel that sort of aversion.
Mm.
And he's kind of thinking about it like, these dang
Yeah.
these dang giants, these dang wolfkins, these dang skit. And then he like, oh wait, one of my best friends is now someone that I used to think about that way.
Mm.
And he kind of has to step back and go, huh, you know? I guess it's not. I mean, he knows this, but he's got to remind himself, it's not your history, the history of your race. It's the quality of the person.
That in mind, let's go ahead and take a short break if you need it. We'll go to the next morning. How are we feeling? Do we need to step away or are we ready to keep moving?
Muted. I'd step away for a quick second,
Go for it.
but I shall return.
Excellent. Let's take a quick little break. Those that are at home, I'm trying to pay attention over here to the viewership. For those that have popped in, that are enjoying another evening with us, thank you so much for being here. If you have questions about this engine, go ahead and pop them into the comments. This is something that's been built up from the ground up, and I am in the process of providing the most streamlined version of this that allows us to tell an engaging story while also providing some mechanical benefit and structure to how a player jumps into this. I want this to be able to be put into the hands of a group of 6-year-olds or a group of D&D professionals or a group that have played nothing but Powered by the Apocalypse games, and for all of them to be able to glean something new and refreshing from this engine. Minimal dice rolls, contested rolls to help simplify things across the board, as well as a measured progression system, similar to leveling, but measured specifically at increasing the steps on your path towards a specific end. And those paths act like the classes of other systems that you might be more familiar with. Really excited for you to see the full game. And I've had the likes of Kim, Haydn, and Micah helping me out for around 3 years. And it's been a blast being able to tell this story in that time. We've had people come and go, and it's always proved to be a surprise as we push into this story realm and create this game at the same time. Yeah, I think that is all I have on the brain right now.
And
Beyond
that's
that,
all.
That's all. The more you know. Yeah, if you know that, then you're old. Or you know the meme.
And if you knew my quote, you're amazing.
You're so great, bestie.
Thanks, bestie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Best Western animation film. Oh, she's back. As we're coming back from our short little break, I'm going to ask one quick question.
Keep going with your thought.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to ask one quick question. In your opinion, think back on all the Western animation films that there have been of late, of any of the past few decades. Which one do you think is most awesome in its connection to like anime and Eastern animation and tropes and action? And what do you think? I wanted to put that out there to get your brain spinning.
It feels like you're leading up to Avatar, but that's a show, not a film.
No. What do you think? Films.
I mean, a Western film that like tackles Eastern animation style.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the only answer is K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, really?
Except that's not. If I recall correctly, that it did originate in Korea.
K-pop Demon Hunters originated in Korea?
But it's Sony Animation.
Yeah, that's an American brand.
No. Sony is not an American
Oh,
brand.
Yes, it is.
No, he's right. Yeah.
Sony is either Korean or Japanese. I think
No,
it's
he's-
Japanese,
he's-
actually.
It is
It's got
Japanese.
an American base,
Mhm.
but Sony is a Japanese company, if I
Yeah.
recall my information correctly.
Okay. That's a question that we're going to have to answer at the end of the show. I want to make sure that we get to the
Um,
juicy bits.
To be
If-
clear,
if we're talking specifically Eastern animation style, but in the West, I don't think there's a single movie that does that. In terms of shows, yes, Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the few that does hit it. If we lump all animation, period, into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, and
Yeah,
when it
I agree.
eventually comes out, Beyond the Spider-Verse.
you know what movie was really good? No, so few people have heard of this movie, but it was called Titan AE.
I haven't heard
Bro,
that one.
that was
That's-
such a good movie.
Okay, Titan AE is my absolute most favorite Don Bluth movie.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome. I haven't heard that name in ages, bro. It was a blast from the past. Gosh, I loved that movie.
Yeah, of all the Don Bluth movies, I'm more a Bluth fan than a Disney fan. Titan AE is the best.
Well, like I
Super
thought
good.
that. No, they weren't released at the same time. Anastasia was his other one.
Anastasia's my second. Okay, they're tied.
Yeah. I've always found that his animation style is fantastic, but that he kind of tackled two separate genres, which I thought were awesome. Like the fantasy historical with Anastasia, and then the futuristic kind of dark grunginess to Titan AE. I got to go watch that again. Frick, dude. All right. Thanks for that.
Hey. He could only draw one man. No, sorry, two men.
Yes.
True.
And
Oh
damn
my
it, we love
gosh.
him for it.
Yes. Yes, we do. Well, you know what? Let's get back to the game, and then we can figure out how we're going to leave things off.
No.
Fine. Good night, guys. The next morning, you guys wake up refreshed. No dreams, no visions for once. That's crazy.
Thank goodness.
There is considerable improvement on the weather. The sun is actually out, peeking in between clouds, and is that way for pretty much the whole day. Like the clouds are actually kind of parting. Things are getting a little bit more bitter because of that, but the wind is gone, the clouds are moving, and the snow has stopped. You can see from here, you're kind of in the middle of that outer ring around the city, so kind of the lesser, rougher and tumble groups are out that way. A lot of caravans coming up this way, and actually they're trying their best to enter in through the southwestern gate of the city as well. That massive gate that Kirdan saw earlier. Those caravans are led by Tauren, and these are strong working people. These Tauren are literally pulling carts of materials, stone, mined and quarried from the surrounding regions, and brought here to build who knows what. Maybe it's ore that they have on the cart. Maybe it is stone. But it's all going in and funneling into the central hub of the city beyond that wall. You'll also see throughout the day, if you decide to go out and explore through town, you spot many other niche lineages. And actually looking out, you find that there are, of course, there's Wolfkin kind of sniffing around as if on the search for something. They feel more mercenary than they do familial. Some of them look the same, have the same kind of coloration, but different patterns and different eyes. There's a construct or two that you see as well, kind of like Derek's, but Derek's is built for strength and presence. These are built for maneuverability, and what you are seeing is messaging. These people carry letters and scrolls between different areas, from the outer ring to the inner circle and to the volcano in the center. What they do with those scrolls and those letters is, we don't know. You know that there is an intricate network within town. These guys don't leave, that you can see, they don't leave town. It's all self-contained in here. Couriers, maybe, you'll just have to see, you might have to ask around. one of the things that you find is that as you get up, who's actually trying to break out and head out the door first? And what are your plans?
Is there breakfast where we are?
When you come downstairs to get breakfast, Jeffrey is busy, like hurriedly talking with Derek's as Derek's is poking in through another room. He's saying, they're going to be up any minute. I just need you to go to the market. Firestorm. Hi. Sorry.
Where's the bacon?
We don't have bacon. And frankly, part of the last of what we had to eat was done yesterday. So we're going to need to go to the store and take care of that. I apologize.
Kirdan
Okay.
will walk down as he's saying that and just go, do you need help with it?
Carrying maybe, but I've got Derek's with me, so I think we've got that covered. If you guys are down to continue visiting, my only request is that I'm not going to ask you to pay anything here. Service, cleaning the chapel on occasion would probably be the best help that you could offer in exchange for your stay.
Can I roll an aware on the way that he's talking to see if he is struggling financially?
Sure. You're rolling against his will.
What do I got to beat?
A 16.
Damn. That's right. He's got a D12.
Yep. He's a beast, dude.
14 for me. I rolled as good as I could.
Yes. You, as you send us that crit, there it is. As you send us that crit, you can't parse, but there's a glint in his eye that shows, I see what you're doing. He treats you no differently. He gives you a warm clap on the back, squeezes your shoulder, and the fact that you are here, it really does wonders for me to brighten my spirits and make the chapel feel a bit warmer. Thank you. Me and Derek's are going to go out. We will be back in a couple hours. We have to gather some things from around town, but we'll be back here before noon. Feel free to explore the city. And hopefully you can figure out exactly how you want to proceed with your time here. All I can say is when you get back, I will have a more structured way of thinking. I want to ensure that I tell you exactly what I've observed, and outside of my experience being kicked out of Brule. Here, Kael'vor, there are things that are happening that are not okay, and you need to understand that before we move ahead.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you around noon. And he steps out with Derek's. Ophelia, you're the last one to wake up.
No, I've probably been out of bed before these guys actually doing the temple cleaning, because I imagine that probably would have been part of my days. I'm kind of Ophelia, just being or just being around Jeffrey and Derek, she kind of falls back into her routine from when she was training with them in Brule. Part of which did involve a bit of, upkeep of the temple and everything.
Right.
Like morning chores, that sort of thing.
Okay. And as we have you cleaning and things like that, you have the opportunity to focus on a few different areas. You have the benches, the pews. You have dusting the sconces and trimmings around the room, the baseboards. You have the glass, the stained glass that's up around the perimeter of this chapel. And you have the rostrum, the place where the speakers and the leaders of the congregation would sit. Where do you think you would have started, and where do you think you found yourself now?
She'll start with the glass just so that she can get a good look at the stained glass.
That's great. So back at where you entered in those double doors, those have long, tall windows, and there's 4 of them, 2 on either side of those doors. They don't necessarily depict gods. They depict 4 forces. From the inside, looking back at the back of the room, you see on the far right is wind and trees of stained glass that seem to be pressed to one side under a gale. Next to that, you see stone, hard, powerful, a valley of rock, and a boulder rolling, almost tumbling through mid-air.
The boulder.
Across the double doors, you see water. And water in this instance there's an oceanic view on the bottom half. There's sky and birds floating above. And then there's almost like a current, like a lateral looking river almost. You're noticing a visual pattern that the gust of wind, the white paneling, the boulder that's tumbling sideways, the water, the river, they're all making a line. And the final panel is flame. It is essentially an inferno, mountainous and volcanic. But there is almost a horizon of flame and sun in a sunset, with volcanoes stirring on either side of it. All combined with the others, it makes a single line of progression. It's interesting because they each are paired with an element that doesn't necessarily fit with them. Flame and water, stone and wind. And seeing that together is odd, but it feels... How would it feel to Ophelia to see those pairings and see that symbolism?
Well, it definitely feels intentional. Hinting at either... no, for sure it's something to do with balance. At least that's the only way she can think of it.
Go ahead and roll me. How attention to detail are you right now? Let's roll to figure it out using your grace.
Okay.
This won't necessarily be a very difficult roll, but I want to make sure that we give you a good look at making sure that these windows are spick and span.
I'm a little bit creeped out right now.
You roll another 8.
I rolled another 8.
What the frick?
It's a 10 total.
All night.
Yeah. I'm a little bit scared of my dice right now.
Yeah, that's freaking weird, dude. You find
But yeah,
that
it's a 10 total.
Got it. That's a crit. You successfully beat that roll with my 6. As you lean into one of these windows, it's actually the flame one, the volcanic one. The one that, ironically enough, is the one that's closest to the main volcano outside. From the inside, you're able to kind of scritch at the dust and the grime that's collected over the decades of maltreatment, right? Jeffrey hasn't been here. Who knows if anyone was here before he came back? But you're kind of using your fingernail. You might even be using a brush or something to kind of really get in between the grooves of the metal and the glass. You notice that these cobwebs, these spiderlings that have been long dead, they pull away, and you kind of squish. Unfortunately, it kind of gets onto your fingertips, and you're like, oh, gross. As you squish your fingers together, try to rub it off and ball up the material, and so you can just flick it off and get rid of it into your rag. When you press it into your rag, which you've wet to try and like scrub it clean, you notice that your finger, when you press against it, it comes and leaves a trail of black. And this black presses into the fabric, and when you close the rag and try and squish it around, you lean up to the window again, and when you try and scrub, it spreads the black back onto the window.
Damn it, just clean that.
At that point, you see that Jeffrey and Derek's, you feel Derek's more because of the ground shaking as he walks by. He's a gentle giant. He walks out ahead. You see him through the glass from your step stool, and you're kind of peeking out. You see Jeffrey wave at you, and then he sees the concern, and then will step up and say, "It's the ash. It's the ash. The volcanic ash up here gets into the spider webs, and it just spreads it around.
Oh.
Yeah, if the wind blows this way, it's a whole mess. So it's a constant battle. I really appreciate your help. Thank you. We'll be back before noon."
All right.
And he's off. He goes pretty much northeast into town. Now, things get quiet for a little while, and things around the chapel. You guys, Kirdan, what would you be doing as things settle for a while? Would you be leaving? Just say quickly what you're doing. We're not necessarily going to get into the specifics of it for now.
Just because even though Jeffrey was good at hiding, whether he was in a good spot financially or not, Kirdan's still concerned because he has also been saying that no one's been coming into the chapel. And so he finds the closest thing he can to a donation box in it and leaves 10 gold pieces in there. And then he goes out to find a place to like get some breakfast or something like that.
Excellent. Firestorm, do you think you tag along with him? Oh, frick. Are you here?
Did you mute me?
I did. We were getting feedback from you, so I had to.
Oh my gosh.
I know. The
Unbelievable.
betrayal.
This is unacceptable, actually.
All right.
Um,
I'll give you a hug and a big wet kiss later, okay?
It better be real wet.
What are you doing? Tell us what you're doing.
If he's going for food, I'm absolutely going to.
All right. So, actually, it lines up really well with how I'd like to finish off for tonight. However, I want to preface that because we started about 15 minutes late, I'm willing to go 15 minutes over. You guys just say the word. Do this number or give your say-so.
Yeah, I'm good for that.
Okay. Haydn, what do you think? You good?
I'm fine either way. If we need to, it's great. If we don't need to,
Great.
it's also great.
Micah, thoughts?
Great.
Awesome. So the two of you, as Ophelia is doing this, do you stop to like chat with her for a minute, or you guys just food? Do you need a bros morning? You need a bro date?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes, we do.
Brunch with the bros. All right. You guys step out. You might like wave at Ophelia, say you're going to bring her something back, whatever. You guys are going to head out, right?
Naturally.
And you're going to follow your noses. So I'm going to have you use senses, or you can just do word of mouth. I'll let you guys roll smarts or senses to determine how you want to flavor that.
Senses for sure.
Senses? Awesome. Go ahead and roll. It's not actually. I'm going to have a D8 be the roll against you guys. And a little. Okay. Because of the cold and because of the bustling nature of the city, you're going to have a +2 modifier against you. The number to beat is 9.
Oh. I've got a 5.
I rolled a 6.
Rolled a 6 for a total of
6.
Okay.
I rolled a 3 on the die, so total of 6.
You guys wind up meandering. You think you smell some bacon, but maybe Firestorm is just the idea of bacon that allures you. So you wind up
After like
Go
the
ahead.
third time that we failed to find something, I'm just gonna look and be like, I'm just gonna ask someone. Just be like, hey, I'm new in town. Is there a place to get like some
Torin,
breakfast?
big bison-looking dude, turns to look at you. He's hefting a cart that probably weighs more than your entire party combined, and he's just pulling it.
Firestorm's gonna look at him. He's gonna punch his fist into his other hand and goes, "Where's the bacon, beef boy?"
And he points up an alley.
Um,
The horseshoe.
well, thank you, sir. Much obliged. And he's
Okay.
gonna tip his hat.
And he starts hefting this thing out of the way. You actually have to let him pass before you have straight shot up that alleyway. You spot, with your senses rolls, you spot a Phelan with their hood over their ears, with their pockets, hands in their pockets. It's almost like the vest with a hood on them, but it's like a shawl at the same time. This is definitely a woman, and she was just hearing that conversation. And she kind of cocks her head at you guys, but doesn't really interact. Up the way, as you continue up the alleyway, you'll spot.
Does she look like really suspicious to me?
I wouldn't. Go ahead and roll aware to see what might be the issue.
That's a 12.
12?
12 of damn.
That's a crit on this Phelan. You can tell that there is passing interest, but not necessarily something that you would have your heckles raised on. In fact, if there's anything shared between you, she would just kind of be like...
So I don't get any feeling that she's gonna like try and rob us or anything like that.
Nah.
Okay.
She has a quiver on her back and a bow laced around her shoulder.
Okay.
That's it. So as you guys are able to move forward up the alley, you get to the horseshoe, and you smell it. Oh my gosh, the glory, the salt, the cholesterol, you smell it all. It's all wafting out that door. It's wafting up the chimney in this large single-story abode. It looks like an abode. It's very homey looking. And just as you reach your big, thick-knuckled hands around that little doorknob, go ahead and roll one more senses.
Oh, it's a 5 for me.
That's a 9.
Firestorm, you actually catch this. Back the way you came, you hear a shattering crate. You hear the lowing of a bear. And you hear a woman scream.
Oh. Sweet bacon. Please wait for me. And then he's gonna grab Kirdan and he's gonna start running back from where he came.
It's like, whoa, what's going on?
We've got to kill the bear. We're making bacon out of it.
Oh no. You guys round the corner and you see one of the places that you passed by was actually an opening to a forge. And this forge is actually connected to the wall that conjoins the lower city ring and the upper city district. This forge has a massive circular archway. It's literally a circle kind of embedded in the ground. It has this aperture type of a lens that closes around on itself when it's time for the kiln to be shut down. It's wide open, and in fact, one of those tines that closes with it has been bent out of place. What you see is hellfire inside, scorching out into the freezing cold, rippling the air. You see about a half dozen people on the ground. A stone brow, 3 moss feet. You see a Wolfkin. You see an orc. And amidst all of them, kind of carving a path of destruction through the town, through crates, through stone, through a lot of the materials that have been shipped into town, is a bear folk, an Urson. And he has his leathers on. He looks like he would be a craftsman here. He has one shoulder covered in a specific kind of patchwork of leather with a vest of leather as well as trousers, a protective apron across the front, an apron and claws that are now covered in red. And there's actually been, over in the far corner, you see a trail of a person's being that was thrown, leaving droplets of red across the snow. That person is now barely moving as they struggle to press themselves up and away from a shattered crate. And a woman that is still screaming is now huddled over someone else in the opposite direction, trying to bring them back to consciousness. You guys are still close enough that you could probably run back to get help from Ophelia. I think, Ophelia, this is going to be quite difficult for you. But if you would like to be involved, I'm going to give you a D8 to beat and flat roll. You choose senses or aware to try and beat my D8 to see if you pick this up. Okay, with that crit, I rolled a 1. So as you are,
And my boys are gonna mess you up.
I rolled a 1. Oh, censorship. You get like a triple crit. There's no mechanics for that, but we're gonna flavor that as if there was. There's a part of you that recognizes when things get too quiet. It's kind of like a parent that knows when their kid is getting into trouble, their toddler is getting into trouble somewhere in the house. It's way too quiet. When things feel too quiet for long enough around these guys in particular, you know that you're about to miss out on something. So you take a minute, you take a breather, you step outside, you get yourself bundled up. That's when you hear the screams. So you start running.
Yep.
You actually come from an angle where you see the Urson front first. You see the red dripping off of his apron, his claws, and now his jaws. He whips his head left and right. He's snarling. Jets of steam are pouring out of his nose as he... Now, as these people are scrambling away, there's actually some Stonebrow that are coming down and in formation, marching, sprinting in formation towards this event. And he goes to town. This Urson, this civilian, is now swiping at these guards and taking them out. These look to be, and Firestorm, you would recognize these are some of the best trained guards, at least from your history, from your memory. These are some of the best trained guardsmen in the nation. They have to be. They're guards of the capital, and from your recollection of the royalty, per se, of this particular town, this city. The Urson is clearly, something's amped him up.
Can I... Firestorm's gonna jump in there and, like, he always has his hammer. So he's gonna swing the hammer right at this bear's head, because something's not right.
Okay.
But as he's doing so, he wants to look and see if there's any black ooze anywhere.
Okay, these are going to be 2 rolls. I'm going to have you roll. The first one is going to be a bit more difficult. You're not going to roll against his stuff. You're going to roll against the situation. This is a highly chaotic moment in a public setting. There are civilians fleeing. There is noise and flame and heat from the kiln. And you're dealing with a savage attacker. That's 3 different challenges that are going to add a +3 to this situation. Because of the nature of how chaotic it is, I'm only going to bump it up D4, D6, D8. Let's have you go with a D8. The highest number that you would have to beat would be an 11, I believe, at that point.
Which one am I rolling for right now?
You choose. This is a world roll. So these are slightly different. I'm not going to have any sort of direction. You're flavoring it like you're trying to determine whether or not he has black ooze anywhere, right? Right now, the number to beat is 9. So you can flavor that as you will. Play to your strengths, like definitely. If you want to flavor it differently, though, don't be afraid to do that.
I'm going to do senses.
Cool.
That's a crit.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Okay, so what's your total on that?
13.
13. You get a crit on this guy. As this bear whips, you see him from behind. He's hunched, his shoulders arched. and he is panting for a moment as he collects himself. The minute you step forward to get your swing, he throws his head in your direction and snarls. And in that moment, you see black ichor spew from his mouth as lines of black come down from his eyes as well, just barely starting to trail. It's as if his tears have been corrupted by some volcanic ash or perhaps something else.
Dadgummit. All right.
Is it obvious enough when he turns to Firestorm that I would see it too, or due to the chaotic
He
nature?
got a crit, so he got a little bit more insight. Go ahead and roll against that. I'm still going to keep the 9 if that's the case.
Okay.
Tell
This
me
would
what you're
be-
rolling so we can flavor it, okay?
I'm going to go for aware because, like, no, yeah, I'm going to go for aware because, like, yes, I am aware of the broader situation, but
Yeah.
I'm now trying to hone in on this, be like, okay, what is going on?
The
here?
spiritual aspect of this.
Right.
Okay.
And that is a 12.
Okay, that's a crit.
I'm rolling a lot of 8s too, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. As you have your crit take hold, you essentially open yourself up to the other side. And using your magic, using your connection to Akiden, you're then able to register that something is definitely off. In fact, it comes not just from this Urson, right? This hulking being that is going on the rampage. There is a barrel. There's a wooden barrel that has been shattered inside the mouth of this particular kiln that has been smashed open. You get the feeling like if you close this thing off, you can lower the difficulty. Mechanically speaking, you could lower the difficulty that you would be rolling against in this situation. But it's jammed open. That barrel that was shattered on the ground, he probably threw. And that same darkness that you feel on him is coming from whatever was in that barrel because it's still wrapped up in a sackcloth bag, I should say. It's pretty large in the remains of that barrel.
Okay.
The Urson roars in your direction and people panic. The difficulty has gone up by 1. If you roll another world roll in this situation, it's going to have a modifier of +4. Now, this Urson sees you panting. And as people begin to panic and move and run, they see that there are soldiers that are being taken down. There's all kinds of things going wrong. How do you respond in this situation?
So, Kirdan's immediate response, because he did actually leave his sword at home, he keeps his shield on him all the time just because if he needs to block, like, guard from something, he can. But in this situation, knowing what's going on, he doesn't pull out the shield. He just, like, he'll pull up his arm, bring it down, and it's not just lightning, but it's the mix of water and lightning, because he does have that full control now. It's like, okay, we got to do this. He's looking directly at the Urson and runs to the bag instead.
Ooh, this is where we're going to resolve Firestorm's hammer swing. Thank you for your patience on that. I know we wanted to get back to that.
So
Now,
specifically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to swing at his head and then bring it down so that I force his head onto the ground.
Okay. Let's see how well that turns out for you. We're going to resolve this just the same. I imagine you're using brawn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You're going against his brawn.
Can I aid that in... Is there...
I will see. Let me see if you can see what's happening.
Okay.
Now, that's not going to be... You are coming in from behind, though. You can see him looming over the alley here, the thoroughfare. Behind him, I would say you would see Firestorm, but to tell what he's doing, that's really what we're trying to hone in on. So we're going to use a D8. Because of the danger in this situation, it's still going to be a +4. Okay? Do you think you'll still be successful in this?
Perhaps.
Okay. The number to beat is 8.
Okay.
Senses or aware. You tell me how you want to flavor this. Smarts, too. I'll open that up for you.
We're going aware.
If you roll another 8, so help me.
I didn't roll an 8, but it was an 8 total.
Meets it, beats it. You barely parse what what Firestorm wants to do here. And as he comes up to try and swing in, I'm going to allow you to roll. And if your number is higher than his, Firestorm will use your dice number instead. Okay?
Okay, because what I want to do, if I'm able to, my next question was going to be, is there plant life on the ground for me to be able to use to do a binding spell?
That's a whole different thing, and I think that's why it matters if your number is higher than his. So let's see what happens here.
Okay.
As you come in, Firestorm, Kirdan dashes in for this bag. You are trying to make sure that you subdue this bear folk as quickly as possible, and maybe as non-lethally as possible, even. So,
Well, I've got a plan.
yes. Okay. The first roll, I'm actually going to treat as a surprise because he's not completely with it just yet. Okay. Do you want me to tell you what you're rolling against as far as the numbers go? I'm going to tell you the result, of course. But do you want to know a little bit behind the curtain what you're facing right now?
Sure.
You're facing off against a D12 with a modifier for his body of 6.
Amazing.
Okay. Funny enough, the number tonight to beat is 8. I got it too. I caught the 8.
I'm sorry.
8s.
I rolled an 8, which means I get a 12.
Oh my gosh. That is a crit, my friend. So here's the deal. Ophelia, you can flavor what happens after this. If you want to assist, you can. Firestorm, describe to me how this crit takes place. Exactly as you say, but like, how does it happen?
So here's exactly what's going on. So he, anime style, jumps from across the room, swings his hammer like sideways, cracks it against the bear's skull, and he knows that this is a bear, man. Like, they've got very reinforced bones. He's gonna be fine.
Yes.
So he cracks it, and then, like, with that momentum, swings it down into the ground so that the bear is between the hammer and the ground. And then he's gonna call upon Belgar and Nefta's power, and he's going to try and shock this bear into paralysis, kind of, while activating fire and trying to do what he's done before and burn out the black goop.
So you're trying to pull a Kirdan on the paralysis.
He's learned.
He's definitely learned from Kirdan.
We're going to resolve this in 2 rolls. I need you to roll them together to make sure it's effective as possible. You pick which one is which. One of your D10 rolls is going to be for Nefta, and you're rolling for Will on both, right? Nefta will be one, Belgar will be the other, but you need to roll 2 separate ones and have the number ready to go, okay?
Okay.
You pick the first one. Say out loud which one you're rolling first.
I did say I was trying to shock him into paralysis first. So
okay, so Nefta will be that one. Go ahead and roll that and tell me your total using Will.
Okay. Total, that's a 6.
Okay. What's your other one?
That is a 13 for Belgar.
Nefta rolled a 1.
Oh boy.
Now, considering how proficient, the numbers in this game mark your skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So skill in a matter of choice, whether or not you're going to obey, doesn't necessarily have
more like
to
a willingness,
right? The willingness to enable that skill, that modifier, it's a choice. You can choose not to do it. And I think in this case,
I think Nefta likes me. I think
she actually, as that hammer strikes this Urson into the ground, you are then able to course electricity through your hammer into his skull. And as he writhes, he's just trying to resist, but his body begins to lock into place. and he is paralyzed. We will see how long that lasts. Now we get to the other one with the 13. With an
Belgar being
18 on the die.
Oh my gosh.
Belgar's influence enters your mind. And where you expect to feel your body burst into flame and present the firestorm once again, you realize Belgar's drawing your attention to a gaping aperture spouting gouts of flame. He may not have given you the divinity, but he has given you an answer. Now, Ophelia, how do you assist in this specific situation? You see electricity coursing into the Urson, but only just beginning. How do you want to assist in the situation? I will give you narrative authority to change your direction. Do you help with restrain the Urson, or do you help Kirdan with what comes next?
Honestly, seeing that the Urson is pretty much dealt with, Ophelia would go see what else needs to be done.
Okay, so you're booking it with your little moss feet legs. You're just sprinting up the way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Kirdan, what is your steps? What is your plan here? What are you doing?
So as I dash towards the bag, recognizing what it probably is, I'm not 100% sure, just mostly sure.
Mm-hmm.
I form my hand kind of into a dome of water, force that over the bag, and then channel the purifying lightning into it.
Okay. What is about to happen is something that none of us have experienced before.
Oh no.
You feel the influence of the Dark Tauren. You feel the influence of infection that was so prevalent amidst the throes of the final fight at the Aemarys Cove. It's emanating off that bag. What's that?
That's why I'm using the divine powers.
Yep. The energy that you have put into this, you realize this is not flesh. This is stone. Stone. Infected. And as you envelop this thing with water and you zap your electricity into it as best you can, you cause this hard material to combust. I need you to roll your attack against this thing, and that is going to dictate how powerful the resulting explosion will be.
Frick. I'm using my will because it is a magic attack. You see, I see that face, and it tells me that no matter what I roll, I lose. But I have a present. It's called 14.
How much damage would you say you're putting into this thing?
I mean, originally I was just going to use the regular 2 mana that I needed to, because that's all that I need to.
Yeah.
Typically. But sensing that and how much more powerful the presence feels here than it did in the AC, I imagine there's a very quick prayer to Akiden, just like, give me a little more juice, please. This is bad.
Okay.
And I pump in 4 points instead of magic.
Okay. 4 points. 1 mana point adds 2 damage. Correct?
I believe so.
So, knowing that you have just put 8 damage into this thing, I want you to know that what I rolled was not a contrarian. There was no contested roll here. It's not attacking you. Its presence is really the issue. The issue, too, is that I was not rolling in such a way that it would be attacking you back. It would be multiplying the energy that you put into it.
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. This is supposed to be done.
You're okay. You're okay. There's $1 to the swear jar. I need to give more dollars to that anyway, so we might as well make it official. I rolled a 4. 32 damage comes out of that resulting explosion. Here's the deal. The shockwave knocks you back towards the aperture that has been bent out of the way. It's not a solid, skinny blade that is now coming at you. It's a flat piece of metal. You are now flying in midair. You cannot react because of how quickly this happens. You ensured that this piece of whatever it is destroyed. But are you going to have the ability to survive yourself?
I have 20 HP.
What's that?
I have 20 HP max.
As you fly through the air, as you offered your prayer to Akiden to protect, to guide, to enable you to pump in the additional magic, she gives you the energy. And as you soar through the air, you feel her influence touch you from the crown of your head and spread throughout your entire body in something that is completely incapable of anything and anyone else in the history of Eshelbel. You smash into that flat section of metal, and your entire being splashes across it as if it is nothing more than liquid. A puddle now exists in different fragments across the ground. You now have to roll to coalesce yourself and not be, one, evaporated by the flame or frozen on the ground by the freezing temperatures.
Oh, gosh.
Ophelia, would you like to assist this man?
What of that did I see exactly?
You know what? It's funny you should ask that, Ophelia. Let's have us roll again with a D8. Go with senses on your end. Considering how crazy this is, the number to beat is a 10.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to protect everyone and I just killed myself.
You got a crit, baby!
Oh, gosh.
So you definitely saw everything that happened as you come around the backside of the Urson smashed into the ground. And as you're still running as fast as you can, you feel the heat coming off of this. You see Kirdan reach down and like bulb out that water around the object in the barrel. You see the detonation. It is like thick black smoke wisping off of a purpley electrified explosion. And it launches him across and he smashes into it and immediately gushes into a separate puddle on either side. Steam is evaporating away.
Ground, by the way.
What's that?
My shield would have clattered to the ground because it's not connected to me enough to...
Yeah. Ophelia, how do you want to do this? If you want to roll awareness so you can understand what's happened to him via Akiden, you can. But until that happens, I think you're at a loss.
Not yet. Definitely having flashbacks to the fight in the Aemarys Cove when Jericho exploded into a dragon.
Yes.
All right. There's no time to cry. We can cry later.
Oh, don't do that. Freaking Kim, what are you doing to me, man?
Hey, you do it to me all the time.
I was hurting your feelings.
Yeah, I'm allowed to do it to you too.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, no time to cry. We will cry later.
This is especially terrible because, like, yes, there's that part of me that would have metagamed if I knew what the consequences would have been. But because I didn't, it's like, oh crap, I might be dead.
Yep. Okay, Ophelia, go ahead. How are you proceeding? Awareness roll and then spell, or just spell?
Awareness roll to give me time to figure out what spell to actually cast.
The number to beat is 7.
That's a 9 on the die, so
9 on the excellent. So you are able to parse the influence of the divine, and specifically Akiden. This is something that she has done to provide Kirdan an opportunity to survive what just happened. Now, what just happened, you can also sense. You know that what that thing was had very much to do with the Dark Tauren and his influence, his feeling. It's as if you have seen a painting of two separate artists. You can recognize the strokes and master works of Haydn. You recognize the patterns and brush strokes of the Plague and the Dark Tauren. They are heavy over here and they are fading fast. You have Kirdan on the other side, whose influence from Haydn is also fading. And I'm giving you a choice as we close out today. Which do you pursue? Helping Kirdan reconstitute, or choosing to learn exactly what that explosion came from?
Kirdan.
Okay.
Helping Kirdan. There's not even a second thought in Ophelia's mind.
Here's how we're going to do this. Kirdan, you're currently a couple puddles on the ground. So this is how we're going to do this. I want you to choose the number of dice you think you fell into puddles, but you're going to be using from D4 up through all of your dice, except for the 10, the 100s die. If you have one puddle, it's one die. If you have two, it's two die. So D4, D4 and D6, D4, D6, D8, and so on and so forth.
I think it's
Excuse me, we're going to flip the numbers on that. D10, D8, D6.
Okay. Given that it's Akiren's presence that actually helped me do that, she probably had at least a modicum of control as to how far I splattered, because if it was just you get to splatter and potentially come back, it's like, okay, I'm everywhere. There's not
I'm going to give it a
puddles.
solid number of limited to three main areas, three main bodies where you landed, right? You're going to roll three times, Ophelia.
That's probably likely is 3.
I'm going to give you up to 3 times.
Okay.
Now,
and that's
Kirdan,
and that's just my mastery die, or
your mastery die and whatever spell work you want to work. So if you have a modifier you want to throw into that, then do that as well. You're rolling once, and if that beats his D10, D8, and D6, which is the 3 puddles, the 3 areas you fall into, then you're going to be able to reconstitute those areas you overcome. Okay? Now, Kirdan, roll those 3 dice. And then, Ophelia, this is not modified, by the way, Kirdan. Okay. Ophelia, you are going to be rolling with your spellcraft.
Am I in any way conscious of what's going on, or?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Ophelia, what's your roll?
Hold on. Let me choose, first of all, which one of my dice I'm going to go with this one.
Eight.
No, not an 8.
What was it? Shut up. Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
The dice love a narrative.
Yeah, they do.
Is she rolling once or once for each one?
She's rolling once for now. If she beats your results on all of them, you're cured. But she's only going to have 3 rolls to get you constituted until you can do so yourself.
Okay. So, on the D10 was a 4. The D8 was a natural 1. The D6 I rolled a 6. So, between the 3, 11 total.
Okay.
So her single roll beats that.
How do you do this, Miss Ophelia?
That is a good freaking question. I was not expecting to have to do this.
As you think about that, Firestorm, you are still struggling with the bear and keeping your concentration on the electrical impulse that you're now generating and forming. What is your desire, knowing the impression that Belgar has given you about the forge?
Can I firebending style reach out and grab the fire in the forge?
Holy crap. Are we canonizing firebending right now?
I kind of have
we've already
domain over it,
canonized
to be
lightning
fair.
bending from me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. This is something that you have generated flame and fire from within. I don't know that you've had the ability to do so from without. So I'm going to match.
I've definitely sucked in fire before.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to run with that. I'm going to use a D8 as the contrasting world die. This is still a chaotic situation. It's going to be a +4 modifier because things haven't shifted. The aperture hasn't shut. The crowd has not yet had the ability to disperse. This all happened so fast. And we haven't really used initiative either, which I feel like is a little bit more cinematic. I'm rolling. The number to beat for you is going to be a 10.
Okay, I'm definitely going to use will on this.
Yes. Like, soup this up, dude. Do what you got to do.
So basically, he's got the A-OK from Belgar to think outside the dwarf a little bit.
Outside the dwarf.
And so, yeah, he's definitely gonna like feel the fire. So here's what he's gonna do. He's gonna feel the fire coming out of the forge, and then he's gonna look inside and feel the fire in his heart and realize it's way hotter, actually. And so, kind of pressure differential. High pressure wants to become low pressure. And the hotter you are, the lower the pressure. So basically, he's going to let the fire in his heart, which is way hotter, obviously, than the forge of molten magma, he's going to let it become a lower pressure and influence the heat around him and let it pour into him.
This is stylistic AF, my guys. So here's what this looks like. Ophelia is reaching into herself and trying to generate the magic that will reconstitute her friend on the ground. As this is happening, flames in tornado begin to spiral out and around Firestorm and the Urson he has subdued, who is currently being pressed to the earth with blue electricity. Still, the smoking, curling blackness and purple sparks are zapping off of the remnants of what was behind, but they are dying quickly. And within all of that, Ophelia, how do you reconstitute Kirdan?
Ophelia is going to take one of her sticks, because she always has at least one of them on her to use, at the very least, as a walking stick.
Kali stick.
She's going to tap it onto the ground, and 3 willow branches are going to start sprouting from the wood. One going toward each of the 3 puddles, so that the puddles can start to like run along the branches to a central point.
That's so cool. So as you're doing this, you are reaching out with these branches. They hit and touch and drink in the water. Is that what we're talking about here? Or
Essentially,
is it just...
yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah. They're forming basically like a channel to run across so that they can all coalesce into one big puddle.
All right. Kirdan, your brawn is on the table to resist the flame that is soaring and scorching overhead. Now, owing to the fact that I rolled a 10 total, high pressure to low pressure, I am going to re-roll this D10 to see what the results are like. Still a +4. The number to beat is 9 with your brawn.
And I just barely eked it out. I rolled an 8 on the die, +2 brawn is 10.
Using every bit of your strength, you're able to coalesce and follow that trail. You realize and sense almost this familial connection. The same feeling that you had with your mom and siblings. That sibling relationship is what comes to mind, glinting in your subconscious like a green spotlight that draws you to one spot and says, come home. Your individual parts can only react in the subconscious in this way, but they feel that and they follow that light, and suddenly your essence touches one of those branches. And then, shoom, it sucks down, because now you have a railroad, you have a channel, you have a tunnel, you have a pipe that you can now follow in a current down to the center at the bottom of the Kali stick, which continues to coalesce and bulge and grow and ripple. And then finally, Ophelia, at the last moment, you feel like something big is happening and it's about to be even bigger. You yank away your Kali stick, shattering it away from those 3 branches. And at the same time, Kirdan, from this ball on the ground, you stand up, your arms back, you yell as you reconstitute, splashing water everywhere. It immediately steams off in light of the inferno tornado that is now circling the Firestorm. Firestorm, what is your next action?
He's going to coalesce the heat into his hand, and he's going to let it fall down through the hammer, and then he's going to let it surgically course through this bear and burn out all of the plague.
Okay. This is really freaking cool. So I'm going to re-roll to see how well he does. If he rolls and does not get crit on by you, there will be no adverse effects to his health and he will be restored. If you crit on him, he will suffer damage as well. Make sense?
Uh-huh.
See, I think it's funny that when I do it, it's the opposite. If I crit, I am much better at not hurting them.
The number to beat. You tell me how you want to work with this. You have to beat a 17.
I can't do that actually. So
Are you sure?
I could.
If you're
The
gonna
only
do a
way I can
Firestorm.
think to beat it is if I go into the Firestorm.
What do you do?
Okay, I'm gonna. Can
You
I just say
feel
that
this bear begin to resist the electricity, even though he's paralyzed. His muscles are twitching against the electrical current.
can
But
I?
go ahead.
I already pre-rolled this one because I like to do that sometimes, just to have
Okay.
it fired up. It was a natural 10.
Oh my gosh. What was your modifier for brawn?
My modifier for brawn is 4.
The Firestorm state gets you +2.
Yes. However, it has been that way for a long time, like since we've had the D8.
I
Should
think
it
you
have
should
gone
have
up
had
at all?
up to like +4.
Well, it's already at +4.
So Firestorm increases that by +4, correct?
No, it increases it by +2.
And I'm telling you now, it will now work at +4. Meaning, I think you just barely eke out enough divine power to make this work.
Heck yeah.
Describe to me how that works.
Okay. So he's not going to go into the Firestorm state without need. So I think he's kind of coursing this. He's trying to surgically pop all this gooey, ooey nastiness,
Yeah.
and he through his will, he can feel the influence of the Tauren over this bear, and he's not letting go. But here's the thing: the last time Firestorm saw the Tauren, 2 things were in place. 1, he was in the Firestorm state, and 2, he kicked the Tauren's trash like it wasn't close.
Yeah.
So
Batter
I think,
up.
yeah, almost as a taunt, and to really rub it in the face of the Tauren, he's gonna let. I don't know if he fully transforms or like how, I'm gonna let you, Karma, handle that, but he's definitely gonna activate those powers, and he's gonna wrench the plague out of this bear dude.
As you feel the heat of your chest, that low pressure increase and increase and increase and suck in the heat from the forge. It's not a small little aperture either. It's probably 15 feet tall from top to bottom. And as the heat gets sucked in and around you and starts to swirl and heat up the head of your warhammer, it begins to brand an edge into and across his eye and cheek. He is screaming on the ground as you continue to press and leverage it into him. And you feel that hammer begin to sink lower as your body increases, as your muscles enlarge, as your beard begins to burst into flame. You now have a flaming beard, your hair is flames, your eyes themselves become infernos and forges, almost an aperture of forges to your own furnace. And as you stand over this thing, you feel the infection being drawn to negative pressure, low pressure, right? You feel that infection pulled and pulled and pulled from every limb to the core of his being and up through his head and neck, into his snout and into your hammer, where it incinerates and puffs away to dust. The last we see, the forge goes dark. Kirdan, you fall to your hands and knees in a puddle of water from the melted snow of the forge. Ophelia, go ahead and roll me a grace roll, actually.
Alrighty.
You're beating 6.
No, I'm not, because that was a 1.
You stumble and fall to the ground, fall to the snow in another cold, icy puddle as you yank away your Kali stick. But you are alive, and you're at the side of the aperture here for the forge. This particular vent for the volcanic forge has gone dark, meaning only one thing. Likely, the firestorm drew so much energy from this particular forge that it forced the magma and lava within it to cool, to super cool. And Firestorm, as you lift away your hammer, you see the smolder, you smell the burnt flesh, and you see a new brand, a scar along his eye. He's unconscious, his head rolls over to the other side. And as the wind drifts around you in the silence, you hear as he begins breathing calmly and quietly. Several soldiers stand close by, having stepped back, seeing that there was a freaking crazed bear in town. Citizens watch you in awe, and go ahead and roll me awareness. Anyone who wants to understand what just happened here culturally, go ahead and roll.
That's an 8.
That's an 8 on the die, so 12. 12 of damage.
That is also an 8 on the die.
Shut up! Oh my gosh! How
This
is
makes-
happening?
I've only ever had this happen once before, where I kept rolling 2s the whole night.
Okay.
But this is an 8, so that's an 11 total.
You can each see the looks on the civilians' faces. Awe, wonder, horror. Some of them have seen what you have done and think you to be messengers from the gods. And maybe you are.
They're not wrong.
Not entirely.
There are some of them here that have seen what you have done and stand on shaky legs pointing. These are the ones that brought the monsters to the Aemarys Cove. And you can tell that there is some misunderstanding, some great misunderstanding that has transpired since the events of that fateful fight. That's just the civilians. The soldiers, now that they have seen this display, they look to you, and rather than put away their weapons, they stand at the ready and now entirely unsure whether or not they should engage. If they couldn't stand up to one of those bears, They sure as the nine hells would not want to stand up against even one of you who submitted that same bear. Lastly, you feel on the wind. Remind me your totals again. Total of 8 from the Firestorm, 8 on the die for the two of you. What were your totals? Thank you.
My total was 11.
Both of you glean this last piece. In the moments that you were in that puddle form, you were only aware in the most subconscious level of your being, Kirdan. Ophelia, you are rushing to channel your magic to tap into that ancestral force that you carry with you. And in the time that it occurs to you to take a breather, to recognize what's happened here, and even to hear the murmur in the crowd that people think that you're the cause of the beasts that hit the Aemarys Cove, you sense something of a spiritual nature. I sure hope you're ready to play the game.
Mentally, Kirdan flips him off.
Yeah, Ophelia does the same.
Both of you just...
Yep.
Quiet, then murmuring, then a clamor as citizens rush to see what's going on, as a handful of them begin to talk to the bear folk on the ground. Birch! Birch! Are you okay? Birch, the bear, his eyes flutter open. What happened? And that's where we're going to end this episode. Unless,
okay.
Firestorm.
Firestorm had a good idea.
Yeah, what's that?
Firestorm is going to maybe jolt him a little bit with energy, with electricity.
Okay.
Kind of like a give him a little bit of hit of caffeine, as it were. He's gonna hoist him up with his arms. He's probably bigger than the bear at this point because he's in the Firestorm state.
In the Firestorm state, yes.
And because he got the first little bit, of information, he's gonna bellow out to the crowd. We are the protectors of the Aemarys Cove, the defiers of darkness, and we are here to root out the evil that lays waste to your city. And then he's going to point his hammer towards the church and say, "Go to church."
Of those elements, I'm going to have you roll your will, and I'm going to roll the townies, the soldiers, and the other side just to see how they each respond. What's your response?
Wait, what am I rolling?
Will. You are rolling your dice and adding your will modifier.
Okay.
In the Firestorm state, so +4 on top of whatever you've got.
Okay, so that means I get a +8 to my will, just so you're aware.
Mm-hmm. I just need to know if you're going to crit or how you crit, okay? Just do it, please.
I rolled a 1, so that's 9. I rolled a 9.
Every citizen here that was not immediately perturbed by your presence makes the commitment to go to church, like right then and there. The people that weren't perturbed go. The people that were are convinced now of something a bit less sharp. Wait, did we have a misunderstanding? What happened? People are murmuring, and then they recognize. Go ahead and each of you roll me to close out. We're doing a little bit, one last cinematic. Roll senses to see if you parse this information.
I don't think senses. Yeah, senses does not get the Firestorm buff, but that's still a 10.
10.
9 on the die, so 12 total. What is with me in 12s today?
12 of them. The danger is gone, by the way, so your world modifier has disappeared except for one, and that's the audience, the people listening.
Hold on, did we resolve like the goop that he was carrying around with him?
Oh, we need to make sure we get to that too. So let me finish with this last cinematic, okay?
Okay.
So we have a 10, we have a 12, and we have
What was it? Senses?
Senses.
Senses.
We have a 13.
13. You guys have done an incredible job tonight. This is probably the one thing that broke. This one roll just broke how I was able to keep my curtain in front of you for a minute. With those things in mind, you are listening after the display of the Firestorm and his correction to the public perception. People are still hardened against you. That's not going to change. You're not going to win every single battle, verbally or otherwise. Not 100%. But what you do here, I think, because Kirdan and Ophelia are kind of tucked into the forge a little bit, Firestorm is actually the one that parses this on the conversation of people nearby. I thought you said the advisors warned us about these guys. They're the saviors? Well, the advisors wouldn't lie. They lead us. And Firestorm, you realize that there might very well be some collusion and corruption from higher up in terms of relaying that story.
He's going to give a mental.
With you two that are in the atrium, your senses roll is going to be directed at the goop, as we've called it. You see the smoke filtering away, the purple electricity long since dispersed, and maybe the static electricity discharged, if you want to call it that. As you kneel down, as you bend over this, what was left of this package, what's soaked in water and now electrified and then detonated with electrically charged energy, you find, wisping off of this thing, black smoke, same sackcloth bag, with tiny shards of black crystal scattered across the ground in a crater from the detonation site. From here, you can only really count maybe 10 shards of this thing. The rest of them are so small, they might be mistaken for obsidian glass. But this is not glass. It feels almost as if it is metal to the touch. And it's ice cold, having just been detonated with heat and in a forge. Weird. Do you leave these shards, or do you decide to pick them up with you?
No, so yes and no. Kirdan, knowing what he felt when he touched it, granted with his divine abilities, will walk over to the puddle that he reconstituted in, pick up as much of it as he can using that water, or using his water abilities, and go over and collect the pieces with that water without touching it.
Okay.
And then hold it outside long enough for it to freeze, so it's its own little container for it.
Smart.
Before then grabbing and holding on to it.
Ophelia, do you want to reinforce this, make it any safer to carry, or do you think he's got
it? Let's see, what do I even... Guess I'll be cold for a bit. Ophelia will take off her cloak and wrap it around the ice ball.
As she starts to do that, Kirdan go, no. And he'll rip off his scarf. Because he's got more layers.
Yep.
He's like, no. That is your only coat.
You now stand at the opening of an aperture to one of the most important mining sites in the nation, having just been destroyed at the hands of the Firestorm, at the hands of your party, all in an effort to save one Urson, Birch, the Bear Folk.
I'd say it was already exploding and we saved it.
That's not far from the truth. And because of you, the numbers at the Chapel of the Gods' Hands will be increasing in the immediate future. With that, I think it's time to bring this session to a close.
Yeah. Next session, Kirdan is going to have questions for Akidan.
That was freaking incredible, you guys. That was so good. Way to come back swinging. We had a month break, almost more than a month, right?
Thereabouts, yeah.
That's how you start a freaking campaign arc right there. Kirdan, you good, bud?
I think so. Like,
Anyway,
emotions
we're
are
gonna
high
keep
on me.
chatting. We got to do our post. We got to do our calm down, our cool down after that. But thank you so much for watching. If you catch us live next time, you want to schedule this in to make sure that we're here. You guys have been fantastic. And if you're watching this after the fact, we hope you enjoy. We hope you binge, because we want to make these episodes as quick as possible so that you can just blaze through them, right? Like the Firestorm, pun intended.
True.
All right. Thanks again for watching. Have a fantastic evening, day, whatever time it is where you're at.
Thing.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Hey.